Rome learned to hate kings only after kings built Rome. 7 kings, 7 layers, 1 political trauma. This is not a king-by-king lecture. It is Rome becoming a machine. Order built the city. Power poisoned the order. By the end, Rome will not just lose a king, it will invent an enemy. But first, early Rome is half memory, half legend, and half propaganda. Yes, that is 3 halves. A king was not just a crown. He was army, judge, priest, and emergency button. The first problem was not glory, it was survival. A king was not just a crown. He was army, judge, priest, and emergency button. Later Romans told this story through 7 rulers. Convenient? Very. Useful? Absolutely. So we follow the function: founder, priest, warrior, connector, builder, organizer, tyrant. And the first layer is brutal. A city needs a line. By Roman tradition, Romulus is the founder and Rome's first king. His first gift to Rome is a line, inside and outside, ours and not ours. A city can grow fast, a society cannot, and that becomes a problem. The legend solves it the hard way: conflict, abduction, a forced alliance. Romulus gives Rome the basics: a people, soldiers, elders, and a story. But force can found a city, it cannot calm one. Then comes Numa, the anti-Romulus, at least in Roman memory. His job is simple: turn fear of the gods into scheduled behavior. Later, Romans credited Numa with almost everything sacred. History is less tidy. Religion here is not decoration, it is the operating system of obedience. If everyone fears the same rules, everyone can live by the same clock. The tradition even gives him a symbol: Janus's gates closed in peace. But peace is not Rome's natural resting position, it is a pause. Numa gives Rome rules, the next king gives it appetite. And when Tullus arrives, the room gets louder. Tullus Hostilius is remembered as Rome's war king. Subtle name, really. His great story points at Alba Longa, Rome's older Latin neighbor. Tradition compresses a war into 3 brothers against 3 brothers. The real point is bigger. Alba loses, Rome absorbs. Rome does not just defeat people, it learns to digest them. Under Tullus, the city's center of gravity moves toward war. Even war needs rooms where powerful men argue before sending others to fight. The story ends with lightning, a warning that power still answers to ritual. War expands Rome. Logistics makes expansion useful. Ancus Marcius is remembered as the compromise, pious enough and violent enough. He fights the Latin towns, then brings the people into Rome, a very Roman solution. More people means more land, more walls, and a lot more arguments. A bridge changes everything. Now Rome is not just a hill, it is a route. Tradition gives Ancus the port of Ostia, Rome's doorway to the sea. Not an empire yet, think salt, small boats, taxes, and opportunity. Ancus adds the boring part that makes history actually work. And once Rome becomes useful, ambitious outsiders start paying attention. The next layer comes from the neighbors. Rome will later pretend to look down on. Tarquinius Priscus brings Rome an Etruscan-flavored upgrade. Rome will later act superior. Here, it is taking notes. His layer is ambition in stone: public works, spectacle, drainage. The circus is not just entertainment. It teaches Rome to gather as a city. Drain the swamp, and suddenly the ugly low ground becomes valuable. This is how a village gets a public heart. Symbols matter. They make power look older than it is. Big projects make a city. They also teach rulers how to command bodies. The more Rome works, the more the throne looks necessary. Dangerous idea. Then, Rome discovers the most powerful tool of all: counting people. Servius Tullius is the reform king, with a historical asterisk. Tradition says he divided citizens by wealth and duty. Census sounds boring until you realize it decides who serves, pays, and votes. In Rome, your property could become your armor, and your political weight. The city stops being a crowd. It becomes an inventory. Still, the symbol works. Rome now imagines itself as a larger whole. Servius also points Rome outward, toward leadership among Latins. By now, Rome is too complex to run on charisma alone. The better the machine becomes, the more tempting it is to steal. And the last king does not inherit Rome. He takes it. Tarquinius Superbus is remembered as the last king, and the warning label on monarchy. Tradition says he takes power through murder, not consent. The throne is already poisoned. Earlier kings needed elites. Tarquin pushes them into shadow and calls it rule. Once senators start disappearing, monarchy stops being an office. It becomes personal danger. The same infrastructure that built Rome now looks like forced labor under a crown. The city is getting grander. The people under it are not getting freer. Outside, Rome looks stronger. Inside, the throne is already beginning to rot. This is the turning point. Order has stopped organizing Rome and started dominating it. Rome will not revolt because of a textbook. It will revolt because of a wound. Lucretia's story begins in silence. We do not need to show violence to understand it. In Roman memory, Lucretia is legendary. Politically, her story becomes explosive. Sextus Tarquinius turns royal power into private terror, and Rome cannot contain it. She asks for an oath, not comfort, not excuses, justice against the Tarquins. Then the story crosses from private grief into something Rome can no longer ignore. Brutus lifts the covered blade, and grief becomes a political weapon against kings. His oath is simple: Tarquin must go and no king must return. Now every old grievance finds a voice. Tyranny suddenly has witnesses. Rome removes more than one ruler. It expels the royal name itself. The throne is too dangerous in one piece, so Rome breaks the office apart. The Republic keeps power, but splits it, times it, and forces it to answer. Roman liberty begins as suspicion. Never let one man become king again. Here is the irony. Rome rejects kings, not what kings built. From Romulus, it keeps the boundary and the people. From Numa, it keeps ritual, because states love calendars. From Tullus and Ancus, it keeps war, expansion, roads, and the river. From the Etruscan kings and Servius, it keeps the city machine. From the last king, it keeps a trauma. The royal name becomes poisonous. Rome became a city through kings, and a republic by swearing against them.